My daughter's name is Vivian St. Clair. She's a third grader at Annunciation who just turned 9 years old. She was shot twice in the back and once in the arm while she sat in church last week. After several minutes of chaos and hiding under the pew, she followed her teacher to safety at the school. It was there that her friend said to her, "Vivi, are you okay? You have a hole in your back." After being hospitalized at HCMC, I got to take her home. I got to take my child home after this horrific massacre. But the Moiskis didn't, and the Merkels didn't. We all dropped our kids off that morning, but we didn't all get to take our kids home. And that level of heartbreak is unfathomable. No parent should ever experience that pain, and I will tell you, those two especially do not deserve that pain. When something terrible and tragic happens, you're supposed to look for the helpers, the good people. There was evil that day. There was unimaginable evil. But I want to acknowledge that there was also countless examples of selfless people doing extraordinary things. The group of dads who were at Mass, and our priest and deacon and principal who had no regard for their own safety as they immediately ran towards the gunfire. The heroic teachers who sheltered our kids under pews. The older kids laying on their younger buddies, the first responders, the sheriffs and police and firefighters, the EMS crews, the entire medical teams at HCMC and Children's who cared for the injured, the police officer who got Vivian into the ambulance and rode with her, and who has continued to check in on her, the nurse you've heard about who went into the CT scan with Vivian and held her hand and comforted her until I could get there. That is the embodiment of the saying, "There is no such thing as other people's children." The neighbors and friends and family and coworkers and strangers who have shown a remarkable amount of love and support for our community. We are forever grateful. There aren't adequate words to express the immense gratitude that I feel. But I want to warn you, if you think this won't happen to your kids, your neighbors, your nieces and nephews, your grandkids, think again. Those bullets firing through the stained glass windows didn't care whose parents were Democrats or Republicans, if they made 50 grand a year or 500 grand. The bullets didn't care what color hair those kids had or what color their skin was. And if you think the next time there's a school shooting that it won't hit your neighborhood and the people you love, think again. Without action, we will be here again, mourning the loss of innocent lives. And Annunciation will be the community sending a bouquet of flowers to the next school. We will write on the card, "We get it. Love Annunciation." Because that's what Uvalde did for us. So we'll pay it forward. Vivian and Lydia and Victor and all the others will be on CNN 15 years from now, recounting the horrific memories of their school shooting, the same way Sandy Hook kids are doing now. They'll talk about the gruesome details of seeing their friend shot, the sound of shattering glass, the awful smell that permeated the room, and the feeling of a bullet piercing their flesh. If you have one shred of decency, 1 ounce of compassion, 1 moment of clarity, you will do something. You will be part of the change. You will pray, and you will move your feet, and you will take action. Speak up, raise your voice, demand change. Think the thoughts, pray the prayers, and then do the things. Because we all know that thoughts didn't stop the bullets, prayers didn't stop the bullets. Action is our only hope. Thinking and praying are what you do after a tragedy. Taking action is what we can do before the next tragedy occurs. To our lawmakers and people in power, who the hell is going to do something? Who's going to make meaningful change and take tangible steps to break the cycle? This moment and this opportunity will define your character. Are you courageous or are you a coward? Do you care about our kids? Don't tell us the answer, show us. Prove it. Prove you care. Do we need improved mental health support in our schools and communities? Yes, please fund the hell out of that. Do we need improved measures on background checks and identifying potential risks? Absolutely, make it happen. There are many ways we can do better for our kids. Any and all options are on the table. But doing nothing is not an option. I know people who are hunters. I know people with conceal and carry permits. That's not what I'm talking about. But I will settle for nothing less than an immediate ban on semi-automatic rifles and high-capacity magazines. And I will get the names of any lawmakers who stand in the way of that happening. And I will invite you to come to my living room and insist that you hold Vivian's hand while we do her dressing changes each night and she cries the entire time. And you can look her in the eye while you cleanse her bullet wounds. And you can tell her to her face why you are opposed to keeping her safe, why a semi-automatic rifle is more valuable than her life. I will end by imploring you to pray for Sophia's recovery, pray as hard as you can. And please, please keep Fletcher and Harper's memory alive. Honor them and remember them for the amazing kids that they are. Not just now while this story is fresh in the headlines, but in the coming weeks and years and decades ahead. Always remember them. Now, more than ever, we need a future filled with hope. Thank you.
Thank you, Malia. Now I want to introduce Samantha Lau. She is the manager of our newborn intensive care unit, where Malia works. Malia is one of our colleagues. And Malia is clinical care supervisor there. And Samantha, I just want to say also, you guys are hearing her name for the first time right now, but you already know about Samantha. Last week, Dr. John Gakin mentioned that a nurse accompanied one of our patients in the CT scanner, and that was Sam, who accompanied Vivian. And I just spoke with some of the technologists who worked in the CT area last week when Vivian was being scanned, and Sam was with them. And they said that Sam made a difference that day, and we were able to get the scans that we needed to get. And it's not highly unusual for somebody to accompany kids in the scanner when needed if they're afraid. But Sam really made a difference that day with Vivian. So Sam, would you come on up and have something to say?
All right. I just want to start off by saying that the focus of this moment has to remain on the children whose lives were tragically taken, those who are injured, and the families and the community members who are grieving. No words can capture the depth of that loss, the loss of life, of safety, of security, and of normalcy. The story of Vivian and I just happened to be highlighted last week, but there were so many moments like that day. I feel honored to have been with her. Vivi showed so much strength and courage. Staying with her was not bravery, it was instinct. As a mom myself, I'd hope someone would do the same for my child, and I would do it again tomorrow without hesitation. Another example of this amazingness that was here that day is a NICU nurse named Meg. She used to work in the emergency department. When she heard there was a mass casualty that day, she left our unit and went straight to the stateroom to help in any way that she could. No questions asked. She didn't have to put herself in that situation, but she did. She is just another one of the truly amazing people that work here. So many people stepped outside of their comfort zones and did things that were never in their job descriptions. Teachers, staff, healthcare workers, first responders, parents, even students, everyone. Everyone showed courage that day and compassion in impossible circumstances.
Thank you, Sam. And I want to introduce Rachel Dunnett. She is our interim chief nursing officer. She's going to say a couple words.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rachel Dunnett. I'm the interim chief nursing officer here at Hennepin Healthcare. Today you heard some pretty incredible stories. Thank you both for being brave and stepping up and speaking, especially Malia, what you had to say. It's important. And Sam, what you had to say is what we do every day. We take care of people, everybody, and even during the most vulnerable times. I couldn't be more proud to work with both of these nurses, as well as all the other nursing staff and all the other healthcare employees that are here at Hennepin Healthcare. Every single one of these kids is important and has a story and has gone through a lot. I've spent some time with the other directors and other nursing leaders rounding through the units, chatting with some of the family members, and it's been heartbreaking, to say the least. And so what Malia said is 100% to the core. We do need active change, and that's praying, but that's also doing something about that and speaking out. So I want to thank you both for being brave today and doing that, and I want to thank everyone for listening in and being here. So thank you.
Thanks. We're going to open it up for some questions now for Sam. If you want to come on up, Sam. Any questions?
Could you talk about what was going through your head before the patient started crying? When you first heard of it?
Sure. So we found out that there was something that had happened. We have a meeting every morning at 8:30 with all the charge nurses, and the house soup received a call during that meeting. And I just remember her on the phone saying 2-0. She gets off the phone and said that there was a mass casualty and that many victims. There was 20 people. And at that time, we did not know that it was pediatric. We had no idea. So everyone, jumped into action and went to their respective units, which is when I went to the NICU and Meg went down to the stateroom. And then pretty quickly after that, we found out this happened at a church, this was a school, these were kids. And so, yeah, I think at that point, all of us felt a very different sense in this sense of panic. Shortly after that, Malia called me. She was not working that day and said it was Vivi's school and did I know anything? And I didn't at that point. And I told her I would let her know if I did. And then probably not 10 minutes later, she called me and said that Vivi's here. Can you go find her? And so that's just what I did, was go find her. So a lot of thoughts, I guess.
I apologize. Can you just talk about the bravery you saw from Vivian while you spent time with her in the hospital?
Yeah, so I had never met her before, but she is a remarkable little girl. She remained so calm and poised, and she was able to talk about her dog and how her dog eats her socks. And she was able to she was just amazing. And really the whole time she was here, she just really showed, she seemed much older than 9 years old.
As a healthcare worker, how do you help children get through a moment like that and process it when you're trying to get through it and process it yourself?
I think that you just kind of, I'll only, I guess, speak for myself. I think in that moment, I just knew the most important thing was her. And I thought about Malia, and I thought, if this was my child, I would want someone to try to make something normal for them. I have no idea what to do. I'm not a PICU nurse. I don't normally do anything like that. So I just talked to her like she was my own kid, and I tried to remember every single thing Malia ever told me about Vivi. And so I started talking to her about hockey and her dogs and a trip. And I think I don't know, I think anybody in a moment like that, you just do anything you can. And you just kind of, it's like an out-of-body thing. You focus on what's important, which was her.
Can you retrain for something like this?
No, I don't think so. I think I don't know how to answer that. No, I don't think so.
It was mentioned that Vivian might have bullet fragments that will not be removed. Will those remain?
They will remain.
Staff and children mentioned that they're going through it themselves. How are you all doing?
Yeah, I think that's a loaded question. I think that, I think everybody who was involved that day, whether they were here or not, I think has their own account of what happened, saw things, heard things. And I think that everybody is supporting each other and doing the best that they can. But I think that right now there's outpouring support for everybody. And I worry about what it's going to look like when things get quiet. But everyone is supporting each other right now the best that we can.
Any more questions? Okay, thank you so much for coming.